This is Carl Shallahorn This is Carl Shallahorn from the Debunking Addiction blog on healthyplace.com. You know, I was thinking recently, is being an addict always a bad thing? Is it always something that's negative? And when you look at it this way, of course, many people would argue that once you're an addict, you're always an addict. And that's been debated for a long time. And my personal belief is that even though a person's in recovery, they may still have some addictive tendencies or some addictive qualities. So even in recovery, we may be able to transform some of those characteristics that were addictive in nature into positive ones. Now, look at it this way. When a person's in addiction, active addiction to drugs and alcohol or other negative behaviors, oftentimes there are things that will happen, consequences as a result of these behaviors that are very negative. When we get into recovery, however, we can oftentimes transform those negative behaviors into positive ones, things that are healthy, things that are positive in our lives, and things that have positive outcomes or consequences. So, for instance, for me, when I was in early recovery, I decided to take on an exercise program to better take care of my health. And one thing that I realized was that even though I was still an addict, I was still able to take that passion that I had at one time for using drugs and alcohol and transform it into something very positive, which is taking care of my physical body, taking care of my emotional and mental health through the act of exercise. So in that respect, yeah, I think it is possible to take something like an obsession to use drugs and alcohol or the compulsion to use drugs and alcohol and turn it into something positive. In other words, if we can harness our negative behaviors and take a look at where we're at in that respect, it is possible to become and identify ways that we can become more healthy. Another way that you might want to consider transforming a negative behavior of addiction into a positive one is through relationships. Oftentimes our relationships in addiction are very negative. They're very unhealthy. They can be very needy. So in recovery, what we learn to do is transform them into something more beneficial to ourselves and the ones around us. We can do that through a number of ways. And one thing that we may have to learn is that, it isn't always about us. It isn't always about our needs. It's about learning to take care of others. So we can take that negative behavior of obsession and compulsion about ourselves and transform it into something where we learn to care more about others. We learn to take care of others in our lives, and we learn to live more selflessly. In recovery, it's not always about us. Like I said, it's about learning to look out for others and take care of others' needs as well as our own. So in the end, it's about determination, it's about persistence, it's about not giving up and always believing that change is possible and that hope is right around the corner. So never give up that belief that you can't change. Never give up the belief that you can't take those negative behaviors and turn them into positive ones. So that's just a few things to think about as you go about your day and your week. So thank you for taking the time to check out this video, and we'll hope to see you next time on the healthyplace.com website. This is Carl Shallahorn for the Debunking Addiction blog.